Everything can change so quickly. It can take very little to alter course, to catalyze new aim. Sometimes it's just the voice on the other end of the line. Sometimes we just need an excuse or an affirmation to fly. The road rose up and out of the river valley hill into the Ozark darkness. As the car climbed, Aaron felt the air clearing. He felt his mind combed clean. The stagnant, dizzying repetition of the same mundane and futile attempts to keep systems in order fell to the past. The frustrations of trying to define and clarify his own path and rhythm, only to lose them to the noise of a shared space, disappeared like the whispering black of the trees as they climbed the highway hill up and up and up into the great sky overhead. The disorienting group mind, always spinning and boring and delving into rabbit holes and psychedelic eventualities, lay caught in the boggy moisture of the river valley below, seething out from its boundaries and covering over everything. It died to him, and this little car, in the darkness, as the top of the valley neared. It didn't matter anymore. The poverty, the feeling of isolation amidst too much information, the immobility, the disillusionment of purpose, none of it mattered. Not right now. Because they all lay back there, in the dark, and ahead lay the top of the hill. Ahead lay a personal mission, not a group activity. Ahead hovered the only place with cell service, the only place where the outside world could come in and remind what else is possible beyond this insular whirlpool of eerie repetition, where time and space break down and everything beyond what you can see becomes an impressionistic painting of someone else's imagination, where your thoughts and plans dilute into faint, dying whispers, until a hollow, cold groan begins to echo from within you, like the sound of a car in the distance rolling over the asphalt of a highway towards the heavens. Aaron is standing on the top of the hill at the fork in the middle of the road, staring at the stretch of rock house that pours into the distance like a great tongue in the mouth of the valley. Its breath swells towards him and wraps around his ribs. He puts his arms out, feeling like it could lift him off the tip of this ancient mountain. It smells like freedom. The phone is ringing and then clicks into connection. He hears a voice familiar from years earlier, but it hasn't changed, only matured and solidified. His cells and neurons wake up, shaking off dust and Ozark moisture mold to regain their starfire crispness. She sounds so alive, a bit calmer than she used to be. He sounds so grounded, yet as the wind blows, his heat turns up into a flame. They're giggling and exchanging stories. She's been climbing mountains and rock faces and traveling to other countries and clearing trails in national parks and learning the benefits of being alone, also grounded and healthy. He's been finding out how to actually handle his nervous system, creating music, taken by peyote to see things which he describes in length, getting closer with the native ceremonies and plant medicines, the old ways of communicating as a tribe, in a community. He's finally establishing boundaries and realizing how necessary the individual is to the communal health. I'm the only one who can live Aaron's life, he says, speaking the seed of his lessons on respecting his own journey enough to prioritize it. They're both so awed by each other's path. They're both so familiar to one another. Even after the years of absence and other lives, even without much actual time spent together as people, just that summer, every day and night. Just a letter after that, just this phone call. But here, as the wind tries to pick Aaron off his feet, her voice is finding familiar areas to saturate while it breaks new ground. Here, in the blackness of the peak of this valley, Aaron gets the sense that this is a phone call that happens in inevitable orbits beyond the scope of their ability to remember or comprehend. Here is an unreasonable familiarity. He's beginning to pace around, to dance and skip and jump and laugh like a maniac. It's contagious, and it makes her laugh, which makes him laugh even harder. They've always sparked each other. The wind keeps blowing, keeps sliding under his feet when he steps and hops and leaps, keeps winking at him like it may take him at any moment up as high as the vulture's circle on his own night thermal, where the circuit of his confusions and dilemmas could be as small as the phantom eye gunk that slowly slips out of view. They keep sharing stories and asking each other such honest questions with such warmth and clarity back and forth. This isn't a river valley bogged down with growth and mud and hay. This isn't trying to perform simple tasks with someone expanding and spiraling on fractaled branches of entheogens. This isn't the energy of people who let their lack or their poverty keep them from exploration. This isn't a container where people can bottom out to get clean and start anew. This isn't the container of someone stuck. This is the rising heat spiral of two strong embers at the bed of a bonfire, sending sparks up to join the stars and make constellations. Aaron feels free. He feels light. He is light and remembers for the first time in how long? A chilling answer, but irrelevant. Because here he is, hooting and hollering into the blasting wind, sweeping him up to levitation. I need to leave here, Moss, he says, using an affectionate name for her. Oh, it sounds like you already let go of a lot of weight. It sounds like you're ready to leave, like maybe you left already, emotionally. Like you want to fly. I'm flying right now, do you hear that? The wind takes over the phone line, filling the space between them with crackling energy. When it dies down, she's laughing into a sigh that so loves it almost hurts if it weren't too beautiful to sting. Aaron, her tone suddenly very serious, do it. Go. Don't stop. See it. Touch it. Find it. Immerse yourself in it. Trust me, she says, and the wind howls in the distance. It's building up momentum to rush at him again. That's when she says it. There's so much more out there. The wind breaks in, he spreads his arms and jumps, and it carries him up so high he can see the entire valley. The overcrowded, well-meaning community at the base of the mountain, all those little candles eating the oxygen of each other. The celestial flames overhead, feeding each other into constellations so close he can almost catch their snowflake appendages on his tongue. The road underneath him stretching out, ahead, behind, laterally, into the lights of the town in the distance. Moss on the phone, giggling and reassuring him, inspired by him, inspiring him. Loving him still, and loving life enough to want them to know each other. Telling him to fly, to trust, to go, touch and be touched. Her warmth like a comet crashing into his world, so packed with vital nutrients. A wind of promise and remembrance filling him, lifting him up and clearing him out. Experience and love, life, are on the other end of the line. They tell each other they're proud of one another and that they love one another still. Both amazed at the complex simplicity of this. At the way time works lives like tributaries meeting and splitting, moving always towards a common destination. They agree, yes, soon. They'll climb a mountain together. Then the call ends. The wind blows. He spreads his wings, and everything changes.